Time now is 12:04. We've been on the air more than an hour, telling you about some frightening moments across the bay and here in Mobile County. But let's tell you about what happened to one man in Baldwin County. Very thankful, Christian. Very thankful to be alive, and the power of social media too.
Right.
Can tell us more about that. And the man who nearly drowned when he was sucked up underneath fast-moving water.
Right. Talked to John Grubbs earlier this morning, and you're going to hear from him in just a little bit. We're working to get the video on. He lives in Loxley. He works in Gulf Shores, and he just felt determined. He felt like he needed to make it to work today. So he risked it. He got on the road. He said he had just gotten onto Highway 59 when he quickly hydroplaned. A lot of water on the road. His car went into rushing water. He couldn't get out of his car, was sucked underneath a culvert. So terrifying moments. And here's a little bit of our conversation from earlier. Walk me through what happened.
Went down into a deep area where the car is starting to sink. My windows don't go down. I couldn't get the door open, and yet the car was totally filling up with water. The pressure finally equalized in the car, I guess, enough to where I could finally open the door. But, you know, it was just high enough to where I basically had to take another last breath type deal and go for the door as hard as I could. I got it open, and then next thing I know, I was being pulled under the water like with more force than I've ever felt in my life. Finally, I washed out on the other side of the road, which is like 6 lanes over.
Physically, are you okay?
I think I have a broken nose. It's scratched up pretty good, a bunch of scrapes and this and that, you know. Probably going through that culvert.
Was there a point where you thought, I'm going to die?
I'd die? Yeah, twice. When the car was filling up with water, I couldn't get out, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs for someone to help me, and no one could. So I was totally helpless.
And his Camaro is actually still there in the water, he tells me. So, you know, he lost his vehicle today, but he did not lose his life. And it's really a miracle that he only, you know, suffered what you saw in the picture. I mean, a broken nose and some cuts, but it could have been so much worse.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was monitoring social media, you know, as you talk about stories like this. And I don't know, maybe it's just the mom in me. It's tough to listen to him because you hear just the shakiness in his voice. And when you asked him, was he afraid if he was going to live or die? Like, oh.
And he said twice. You know, twice he thought during that moment that he was going to die. And he said a lot more, and he got a little more emotional toward the end of our conversation just because, and I got a little emotional too. You know, it's scary. And it reminds me actually of a story that I did. I don't remember the exact time, but it was sometime last year in Moss Point. And there were 2 children that were playing near a culvert. They got sucked under the road, and it was longer than just, you know, what he was talking about, the 6 lanes. They were sucked all the way under a road, spit out at the other end, and they made it out with just cuts too. I remember doing that story, and it was just a miracle. So it's just, you know, dangerous situation out there whenever you have flooding like this.
Change like that. You're on the front lines. We appreciate what you do. You are doing a great job.
Thank you, Kelly. You too.
Thank you. You know, residents along the Fish River, meantime, they had to rely on first responders to escape waters that rose to historic levels. Local 15 Stephen Quinn, he continues our severe weather coverage and shows you how one by one police were able to bring them to shore safely.